Hello and welcome back to another episode of Crafty Concepts with Erin. In today's video, we will be playing with stencils, and this is a part of the creative design team video collaboration. So there will be lots of projects today showing you how to use stencils with some great ideas. I'm giving you a closer look at the current mix-in paper pack from Close to My Heart. As you know, all of their pages are double-sided, and there's some beautiful patterns in this collection. This is from the March and April catalog. Look at those butterflies, they're just so pretty. And then I really like these mandalas or kind of lace doilies, if you will, just very pretty. So you can these are designed to go along with the current paper packs, or you can use them on their own. And I'm going to pull out kind of the more masculine colors of the saffron, the gray, and the sapphire blue. And now I have here several stencils that I've created myself with my Cricut. I keep them on a little jump ring here and then just hang them on the wall in my craft room. I find that's much easier to store them that way than putting them in a drawer where they could get bent or damaged in any way. So I just cut out, I have several different shapes here. Most of these are from the Close to My Heart Artbooking cartridge, and a few are from Artistry. I still am poking out the little centers in this kind of honeycomb grid here. But I've just been steadily growing my collection, and these are a lot of fun to use. This paw print one I created from just one paw print image, and with some welding and slicing I was able to put this stencil together. Today I'm going to be creating a scrapbook layout, but I will have 3 cards to share with you at the end. I have these photos of my son and his cat. He was just trying to do some homework at the kitchen table, and the cat was crawling into his lap, making everything very difficult, and it was rather funny. So I'm going to be recording or scrapbooking this memory today. So as I mentioned previously, I've pulled out the blues and grays, and I'm adding some cardstock from my stash. This is Sapphire, and then a sheet of white daisy there. This gray pattern paper is going to be my background piece, so I'm removing the branding strip, which we call a zip strip, and I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm cutting this down to be kind of my center panel here. And I decided I want to back this with the blue so it pops against that gray background and gives it a little bit more separation there. It seems such a shame to cover up this pattern paper, so since I'm having a center panel here, I can go ahead and cut out the middle, kind of get this pattern paper on the bottom here. So I want to leave enough that my cardstock has room to adhere to. So I'm just going to cut a slightly smaller square. The lines on this paper make this very easy to do. Just using my paper trimmer here, I'm going around. One more cut, and then we can save this piece for another project. Nobody wants to waste paper. Okay, so we can just put this together like so. And then my pictures, I've printed these in 3x3 squares with the white margin. And now I'm ready to bring in my stencils. So for this project, I decided to use this kind of hexagon a honeycomb. It reminds me of chicken wire too. So I have my little inking tool with the removable foam pads there, and you can use post-it removable tape or removable spray adhesive to hold these down, but for what I'm doing, I can just hold it in place with my hand, and that's going to work just fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm putting the concentration of color in the middle, and I want it to fade out as it goes to the edges, as you see here. And then we can just lift it up, and that's looking great. I'm just going to continue putting my pictures in place to make sure I like where the stencil placement is, and then move them out of the way so I don't get ink on them. And I'm going to repeat this in the upper right hand corner. We're going to create kind of a diagonal look, and so just repeating the process here. And this is a retired ink pad. This is Moonstruck. Sapphire would be similar in the current products available today. Now, I thought it would be fun to do some layering with my stencils. So this one is called a down arrow overlay, and I'm going to use black ink and just kind of overlap these just a little bit. So just doing a very small portion. We don't need a whole lot. We just want a little bit peeking out. These almost remind me of tire tracks too. I have some dirt bike pictures of the boys, and this would be a really cool element on that page. I'll have to keep that in mind. So before I go any further, I want to add some black splatter to this background. So I'm putting down my all-purpose mat to protect my work surface. And this is the black shimmer brush. So not only do you get these black specks, but it has, when it dries, a real like metallic-y shimmer to it. So it's really pretty. I'm just using my journaling pen just to kind of tap the pen like you saw, and that just helps control the splatters. And then you just wipe it up with the baby wipe and you're all done. Ink blending with stencils is really fun. You can get that cool mixed media vibe with very little effort. I like how you can create these unique background pieces on your scrapbook pages and cards. The ink dries right away too, so you don't have to wait for your mixed media to dry or anything like that, so that's kind of nice. I have here some foam thickers. These have been in my stash for I really don't even know how long, so I apologize I can't tell you where they're from, but I thought they would work well with this project, and I love diving into my crafty stash, so we're going to use these for a title. I've laid down a little piece of acetate there so I can place these down without fully committing and make sure I like them. I'm wondering if they were a gray color, they would stand out better against that sapphire blue background. But since I only have a little bit of black on this layout, I do want to bring more of that in. So we're going to run with the black foam letters. My title's going to read A Boy and His Cat, but I think I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We'll use the foam letters for boy and cat, and then I'm going to print out with my Dymo label maker here the words a, and his, and we're going to kind of use these to mix it up a little bit. I love this little label maker. It's super handy. I'll use it for strip journaling when I'm traveling and all sorts of things. Do you guys use a label maker on your layouts at all? I like what that does for the title. I think it helps it stand out a little more and breaks it up and just adds some interest to it. So now we're ready to commit, and I know where I want these, so I can go ahead and put these foam stickers in place there. So this handsome kitty boy in the picture is Thomas, and he's a very regal, noble beast, so we refer to him as Sir Thomas, and he definitely rules the roost. He puts all 5 dogs in their place and lets everybody know where they rank in the household. He was a stray that showed up on our farm and just decided he was going to live here. And it was really interesting because he showed up literally the week that my previous cat was diagnosed with lymphoma and passed away. It's like this cat knew that there was going to be a vacancy, and he just, yeah, like I said, showed up. It was very strange. So a moment ago, I showed you guys a stamp that I pulled from my stash. It's a very old retired stamp from the original Urban collection, and that's where these 2 little arrows came from. And then I just cut this tag by hand from Goldrush paper, and I'm going to tuck it behind this picture here, just kind of poking out the side, trim it down a little bit more. And then I decide I want to add this grid paper as well because it's kind of the yellow saffron, which goes well. And so I'm going to repeat the process and just make another matching tag out of this paper here, and I'll just use this one as a guide, that way they look the same. And you just punch a hole with your hole punch and you have a couple tags. Again, I'm going to cut that one down a little more. I just want them sticking out. I don't want them beyond my white border there. Again, from my stash, I punched this little file label with a punch I've had on hand for a long time. And I want this white paper to stand out a little more, so just using my Goldrush ink. And then I'm going to put a little blue tab at the top here, just to give this tag a little bit more character, and repunch my hole. And then I can kind of glue that into place there. Probably should have glued that first, but that's okay. We'll just use our liquid glue so we can wiggle it into place like so. And then I'm going to add a little twine to these. I thought the mink colored twine would look nice with our gray background there. So I'm just looping it around, and then I'm going to use my microtip scissors to fray the ends out and kind of make those more into like a little tassel, like so. You just pull apart the individual strands and a little tape runner, and we'll get that tucked into place there. Having little tags poked out the side here is kind of a fun little place to add some extra embellishments and create like a layered embellishment cluster, which I will do here in just a moment. These little microtip scissors come in really handy. I have 2 pairs. I've had one for over 15 years now. I probably shouldn't, but occasionally I use them to trim my bangs, and they work really well for that. Not that I'm recommending that you do that, however. Again, pulling some stamps from my stash, I have this Kitty Cuddles stamp, and it says love has 4 paws, and I thought that would be really cute on this little tag here. This is also, tags or tabs are a good spot to put the date and things like that, but I just thought this was really appropriate. I have my little stamp chamois moistened in a Tupperware just off to the side, and it makes for a quick and easy cleanup. I'm looking over some stickers. These are from the original Urban collection, and there's this crown on here, and I'm like, I've got to put that over my cat's head because, like I said, he thinks he's royalty. So the little crown just went right over the top of him, and now we're going to put some stickers on the side here over these tags and just build up that embellishment cluster. I kind of like this cute little pointing hand that's just drawing your eye to that crown there. I've gone ahead and printed out my journaling on the computer and cut it into strips, and I'm just going to situate it over the bottom portion of this photo. And it just says, Sir Thomas adores Hayden. This cat is royalty, and when he sits on your lap, you do not get up until he does. It's become kind of this funny joke that if you are sitting and the cat does sit in your lap, then everybody else has to get you water or whatever else you need because we cannot disturb the cat. My son Hayden honors this request the best, so of course the cat just adores Hayden and chooses him over everybody else. So there's a close-up of that crown. It just fits perfectly. I love that. And looking at that stenciled background with the splatters there, I'm really happy with how this layout came together, and this is a fun challenge. So I told you guys I would share some cards with you. So my first one here is a really simple card. It's kind of a monochromatic with the Wisteria. I did pop up that circle, so I put the circle down and then I did some ink blending, and then I was able to pop it up, and then we just used a little Easter bunny. This one, I know you guys have probably seen a ton of these on Pinterest, but I love this little country bee, and we did the little hexagon there to create kind of that honeycomb look. This one is my all-time favorite. I stenciled the bricks in pewter, and then the flowers are from the Cherishing Her. It was a stamp of the month a few months back. I've colored it in with my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers and put a little liquid glass in the centers of the flowers, and I'm just really happy with the way that one turned out. So here's another video that I know you will enjoy featuring stencils and texture paste. Be sure to check the description box below for all the other talented ladies participating in this video collaboration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.